Hello. Today we are going to start our topic on reciprocals, squares and square roots. Reciprocals, squares and square roots. And we will start with the reciprocals. We will start with the reciprocals. And we are going to start our lesson now. Happy Madaraka Day. I hope you celebrated you had a good Madaraka Day today. And we are going to start our lesson. We will start our lesson now. And we will start with the reciprocal. We will start with the reciprocals. So let us learn something on reciprocals. And by talking of reciprocals, we are learning about those reciprocals that we determine using the mathematical table. So in this particular case, we are going to have a sample of questions. Question 1. Use reciprocal tables to evaluate. Use reciprocals table to evaluate 1 over 0.0125 plus 1 over 12.5. So we are supposed to use mathematical tables to evaluate this kind of a question. So what happens is that for us to find the reciprocal, we need to understand that the reciprocal, when we find the reciprocal of a number, we are going to find the reciprocal of the denominator so that we can multiply it with the numerator. So this is the same as saying it will be 1 multiplied by the reciprocal of 0.0125, then plus 1 multiplied by the reciprocal of 12.5. 1 multiplied by the reciprocal of 12.5. So for us to determine the reciprocal of this denominator, we can create a small table of number, standard form. Then we can have reciprocal at this end, reciprocal. So we are going to use a mathematical table in this case. That is why I told you to ensure that you have your mathematical table. And when you have this mathematical table, we are going to take the first number we are supposed to determine the reciprocal for, which is 0.0125. And after we get 0.0125, we are going to write this number in standard form. Remember, we said for us to write the number in standard form, we must write it in form of a times 10 to power n, where a is a number between 1 is less than or equal to x is less than or equal to 9. 9.9. So the number must be in between there. So what we are going to do here, we are going to take our decimal point towards this side, So this one is 0.0125. So we will take our decimal point towards the right, and we are going to have 1, 2. So that we will have 1.25 times 10 to power negative 2. Why to power negative 2? Because we have taken our decimal point from left to the right. So our decimal point is happy Madaraka Day, because our decimal point is to power, we are taking our decimal towards the right, so it is 1.25 times 10 to power negative 2. Once we do that, we are now going to find the reciprocal of 1.25. So we will go to our mathematical table, and my mathematical table, from the table of content, This is the 5th edition. Mine is the 5th edition. So reciprocal is on page 17. The reciprocal page is on page 17. And from page 17, you will find that the reciprocal of 1.25, the reciprocal of 1.25, the reciprocal of 1.25 is going to be 0 point. So from the column of 0 is 0 point. So 1.25 it will be 0.80000. So it will be 0.8. Then how many zeros? 3 zeros. 0, 0, 0. So it is 0.8000. Then we have determined the reciprocal of 1.25. We are now going to determine the reciprocal of 10 to power negative 2. And the reciprocal of 10 to power negative 2 is going to be 10 to power 2. It is going to be 10 to power 2. Why 10 to power 2? Because, check here, this number is the same with this one. It's just that this number has been written in standard form. So when we are finding the reciprocal, we find the reciprocal of 1.25, and we also determine the reciprocal of 10 to power negative 2. And once we do that, if you take 0.8000 times 10 to power 2, this decimal will come towards this side, and we are going to have our answer there as 80. We will have our answer there as 80. Then we proceed to the second one, 12.5. For 12.5, we are going to write this number in standard form, and we are going to write it in this format where x is between 1 and 1.9. So we will take our decimal towards this side, and it is going to be 1.25 times 10. Na kwa sababu tumerudi step moja, it will be to power 1. So this one is going to be 1 point. No, sorry. This one is going to be, we find the reciprocal of 1.25. The reciprocal of 1.25 still remains the same. 0.8000 times the reciprocal of 10 to power 1 is equal to 10 to power negative 1. So when times 10 to power is a negative, the reciprocal is a positive. When it is a positive, the reciprocal is a negative. And by doing that, times 10 to power negative 1, this decimal itarudi nyuma na itakuwa nini? 0.08000. There is no difference. When zeros are at the end, they are not significant. So you can still say it is 0.08. And after we get that, we can now proceed to after getting that, we can now proceed to 1 multiply the reciprocal. The reciprocal of 0.0125, we got it as 80 plus 1. The reciprocal of 12.5 was 0.08. 0.08. So 1 times 80 is 80 plus 0.08 times 1 is 0.08. And when we add the two, we are going to get 80.08. 80.08. And we are done. Have we understood? If we have understood, ensure you type that down on the comment section so that I will know that you have understood kindly. Another example. (17) over 0.051 plus 3 over 0.0027. We have such 17 over 0.051 plus 3 over 0.0027. So for us to find this to solve this using reciprocal tables, This simply means it is 17 multiplied by the reciprocal of 0.051 plus 3 multiplied by the reciprocal of 0.0027. So we can come up with a table of number, standard form, then reciprocal. I do love this table a lot because it tends to simplify things easier. So once we have that table, we will have our number is 0.051. So this number, if we write it in standard form, it will be 1, 2. So it will be 5.1 times 10 to power negative 2. 5.1 times 10 to power negative 2. Then we are going to find the reciprocal of 5.1. And if you use our table to find the reciprocal of 5.10, it will be 0.1961. 0.1961. Then times 10 to power 2, the reciprocal of 10 to power 2 will be equal to 10 to power negative 2 will be equal to 10 to power 2. And once we do that, we are going to get it as, so times 10 to power 2, we will take the decimal on the other side, and we will get 19.61. We are done with that one. Then we go to our second one, 0.0027. If we are to write this in standard form, it will be 1, 2, 3. So it will be 2.7 times 10 to power negative 3. So when we get that, when we get the reciprocal of 2.7, the reciprocal of 2.7 will be 0.3704. 0.3704. Then this one, it is 10 times 10 to power negative 3. The reciprocal will be equal to times 10 to power 3. And once we do that, we will get our reciprocal as, so times 10 to power 3, we will take the decimal on the other side, 1, 2, 3. It is going to be 370.4. 370.4. And once we do that, 17 into brackets, the reciprocal of 0.051 is 19.61 plus 3 into brackets 370.4. 370.4. So if you can multiply, what is 17 times 19.61? What is 17 multiplied by 19.61? Multiply it very fast. Give me the answer on the comment section. 17 times 19.61. Yes? What is 17 multiplied by 19.61? Good. 333.37. 333.37 plus, what is 370.4 times 3? 370.4 times 3. 370.4 times 3. 370.4 times 370.4 times 3. What will you get? $1,111.2. 1,111.2. Thank you. So we will now add the 2. 333.37 plus, this is 2, a decimal, 1111. These are 0. So when we add, we get 7 plus 0 is 7. 3 plus 2 is 5. 0.3 plus 1 is 4. A 4 and a 1. So our answer will be 1444.57. 0.57. That is how we determine the reciprocal. 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 Aha. So I want us to do another question here that is going to integrate something on squaring. We are being told use mathematical table use mathematical tables to evaluate. So this question is 1 over 24.37 squared. 1 over 24.37 squared. That is what we are supposed to integrate now. 1 over 24.37 squared. So here we have two operations. In this case, we have two operations. And our two operations are, we have the square to square, and we also have to determine the reciprocal. Both of them at the same time. Both of them at the same time. So what we are going to do is that in this particular case, the easiest to start with is to square. We need to square this first. After we square whatever we get, we now determine the reciprocal. So what we are going to do, we can have another small table of number, then standard form, then square. So our number is 24.37 squared. We are squaring it. So let us write this number in standard form. We will take this decimal here, and we are going to have 2.437 times 10 to power 1. Then we are squaring. We are squaring. What this means is that we are going to first find the square of 2.437. Then we also find the square of 10 to power 1. Because this number is the same as this one, the difference is just that this number has been written in standard form. So what we are going to do in this case, we will now use the tables of squares. And from my tables, it is on page 19. Page 19. So on page 19, if we are to get the squares of 2.437, so it will be 2.43, it is 2.43, it will be 5.905, 2.437. We go to the column of 7 pale mwisho. After umepata 2.43 utapata ni 5.905. Alafu uende kwa column huko mwisho 34. You will add 34. And once you add 34, you will get 5 plus 4 is 9. 0 plus 3 is 3. 9.5. So we are going to get 5.939. Then when we square 10 to power 1 squared, it will be equal to 10. 1 times 2 is 2. So it will be equal to 10 to power 2. It will be equal to 10 to power 2. So we are finally going to get this one as, this is times 10 to power 2. So our decimal will be taken to the other side, and it will be equal to 593.9. 593.9. After we get that now, we can now write it as 1 over 593.9. 1 over 593.9. And when we write it like that, we are now going to determine the reciprocal of 593.9. We will find the reciprocal of 593.9. And for us to find the reciprocal of 593.9, we will have still number, standard form, then we have the reciprocal. So once we have that, Our number is 593.9. Our standard form will be 1, 2. So it will be 5.939 times 10 to power 2. So then we find the reciprocal of 5.939. So back to page 18. 5.93. When you find the reciprocal of 5.93, you will get 0.168. That is for 5.93. Then we go to the end 9. Uende mpaka mwisho 9, you are going to subtract 3. We will subtract 3. And when we subtract 3, 6 minus 3 is 3, 8, 6, 1, a decimal. 0.1683. Then we find the reciprocal of times 10 to power 2. It will be times 10 to power negative 2. And what it is going to be, so we will take this decimal back. So itarudi mara mbili, 1, 2. So it is going to be 0. Let us do it here. It is 0.1683 times 10 to power negative 2. So tutairudisha mara mbili, 1, 2, then a 0. So it will be 0.001683. That is going to be, yes, that is what is going to be our answer. So tumepata hiyo kama reciprocal. So itakuwa, this one remember is the same as 1 multiplied by 1 over 593.9. So it is 1 multiplied by 0.001683. And once you multiply, you will still get 0.001683. That is what you as your end product, as your end product. As your end product. There is another one. There is still another one that I want us to do. Another example, 4 over 0.2976 cubic. It is like that. And if you have not subscribed to this YouTube channel, ensure you subscribe. Negative. Are we not going to multiply? Okay, where negative? Talking of the negative. Talking of the negative. Talking of the negative. Okay, let us first do this, then we can check out on what you have just asked. So if we have this one, we are going to use reciprocal here. Then whatever we get, we cube it. So we need to understand there, we will first start with the reciprocals, followed by cube. So we are also going to learn how to cube using mathematical tables. Hizo mbili tulipata na tuka-add. We got 333.37 and added it with 1100 and that. Let us first do this one. So we have number, we have standard form, then we have reciprocal. So with this, we will start with this number here. It will be 0.2976. So let's write it as standard form. It will be 2.976 times 10 to power negative 1. Then let us find the reciprocal. So the reciprocal of 2.976, page 19, 2.976, 2.97, it will be 0.3367, 0.3367, 2.97, then we go to 6, we will subtract 7. We will subtract 7, so you have 0.633.0. So it will be equal to 0.336. Even if we leave that 0, it is insignificant. So it will be 0.336 times the reciprocal of 10 to power negative 1 is equal to times 10 to power 1. So this alone is going to give us, when you multiply by 10, you will get 3.36. When we get 3.36, we are now going to take 4. Remember, we were supposed to multiply 4 multiplied by the reciprocal of 0.2976. After we do that, we now cube. So we are now going to take 4 multiplied by the reciprocal of 0.2976, which is 3.36. After we get that, we cube. So what is 3.36 times 4? What is 3.36 times 4? What is 3.36 multiplied by 4? What is 3.36 times 4? 3.36 times 4. What is 3.36 times 4? Three point 3.36 times 4. $13.44. Thank you. So we now have 13.44 cubic. We are supposed to cube that. So we will now get to the table of cubes. We get to the table of cubes. And the table of cubes, is on page 25. Cubes. And for cube, the table of cubes start from 1.0 to 9.9. So we must also write this number in standard form. It is going to be number, standard form, then logarithm. No, not logarithm, sorry. It should be number, standard form, then cubes. Sorry, not cube root. Cubes. So once we do that, allow me to wrap this part. So, this number written in standard form will be 1.344. Sorry, we are supposed to first write it as a number. It will be 13.44 cubic. So in standard form, it will be 1.344 times 10 to power 1. Then we are cubing. So after we cube, we will check out on 1.344. 1.34 is 2.406. 2.406. That is 1.34. Then the last 4 will be plus 22. We are going to add 22. We will add 22, and once we add 22, we get 824.2. So it is going to be 2.428 times. So we have 10 to power 1 to power 3. We are now cubing 10 to power 1. So it is going to be 10, 1 to times 3 is equal to 3. So it is going to be times 10 to power 3. And once we do that, we will get, so this decimal itapelekwa the other side, 1, 2, 3. It will be 2,428. It will be equal to 2,428. 2,428. And we are done with that question. 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 So, there's another question here. If 1 over f is equal to 1 over u plus 1 over v, comma, find f given that u is 0.5 and v is 0.8. That is the question we have. If 1 over f is equals to 1 over u plus 1 over v, find f given that u is 0.5 and v is 0.8. So given such, we will say 1 over f, we don't have f, so it will be 1 over f is equals to 1 over u, our u is 0.5, plus 1 over v, 0.8. So for that, we can first solve this one using reciprocals. And once we solve this one using reciprocals, we are going to have number, we have standard form, and we have reciprocals. So we have 0.5. Our standard form will be 5.0 times 10 to power 1 to power negative 1. And our standard form will be page 17. No, our reciprocals will be 5.0. It is 0.2000. 0.2000. Then this one will be times 10 to power 1. So this one will be equal to, we will take this to the other side, it will be equal to 2. So the reciprocal of 0.5 is 2. Then we go to the reciprocal of 8. So this one will be 8.0 times 10 to power negative 1. So the reciprocal of 8, the reciprocal of 8 will be 0.1250. 0.1250. And the reciprocal of 10 to power negative 1 is 10 to power 1. So this one will go to that side and it is going to be 1.25. 1.25. So for us now to get the total, it is going to be 1 multiplied by the reciprocal of 0.5 is 2 plus 1 multiplied by the reciprocal of 0.8 is 1.25. And by doing so, we are going to get 1.2, 1 times 2 is 2. So it will be 2 plus 1.25 times 1 is 1.25. And our solution will be equal to 3.25. 3.25 is these two after adding them. So we are now supposed to find f. So 1 over f is equal to 3.25. 1 over f is equal to 3.25. So once we get this, we can say this one is over 1, so that we can cross multiply. We can cross multiply. So let us rub this part. So we have 1 over f is equal to 3.25 over 1. Let us cross multiply, and when we cross multiply, we will have f times 3.25 will be 3.25f is equal to 1 times 1 is 1. So we will now divide 3.25 to get f, then 3.25. Once we do that, we will get f is equal to 1 over 3.25. So what are we going to do here? We still find the reciprocal, because we are supposed to use the tables. Once we find the reciprocal of 3.25, we are going to get our f is equal to 1 multiplied by the reciprocal of 0.25. And it is going to be f is 1 times the reciprocal of 3.25. The reciprocal of 3.25 is 0.3077. 0.3077. So our f will be equal to, when you multiply the two, you will get 0.3077. Going to be our f. That will be our f. That will be our f. So if I give you some questions, I know you are now in a better position to respond. So please do these questions. Do these questions. Is it 10 power 1 or negative 1? Which one? Listen. If you have a number like 234.5 and you are supposed to write this number in standard form, ukileta decimal hivi, hiyo power ni positive. So it will be 2.345 times 10 to power, umerudi mara mbili, power 2. But if your number, wacha nielezee hapo. When we are writing numbers in, if you have a number like 0.02574 and you are supposed to write this number in standard form, when you are moving from left, taking the decimal from the left to the right, the power is negative. So 1, 2. So it will be 2.574 times 10 to power negative 2. If the number is 456.8 and you are taking your decimal from the right towards the left, 1, 2, 4.568 times 10 to power 2. It is positive. Have you understood now? That is it. Wapi hapo? Pale wapi kwa SF? Let me give you some questions. Do that one. Let me still add another one. use reciprocal in square tables to evaluate to four significant figures. One over 24.56 plus 4.346 squared. So do those two questions. have sent you some work on reciprocal. Let us do the first question so that we can mark. Let's do the two of them, we mark, then we call that a day. Sitaki kuwakimbiza sana, but I can. Today we have covered a lot, by the way. So let us respond to this question. This one we are going to use reciprocal, and that is going to be 3 multiplied by the reciprocal of 0.6735 plus 13 multiplied by the reciprocal of 0.156. And once we have that, we have number, we have standard form, and we have reciprocals. So number, we have 0.6735. Standard form, it will be 6.735 times 10 to power negative 1. Then the reciprocal will be the reciprocal of 6.735. 6.73. It will be 0.1486. 0.1486. 6.73, then 5. We subtract 1. So it will be 58410. So it will be 0.1485 times 10 to power 1. The reciprocal of 10 to power negative 1 is 10 to power 1. Then this decimal will go back there. So that we have 1.485. Then we take the second one, 0.156. In standard form, it will be 1.56 times 10 to power negative 1. Then from our mathematical tables, 1.56 will be equal to 0.6410. 0.6410 times 10 to power 1. The reciprocal of 10 to power negative 1 will be 10 to power 1. So we will still take our decimal there, and we have 6.410. And once we have that, we can now proceed. It will be 3 multiplied by 1.485 plus 13 multiplied by 6.410. 6.410. So what is 3 times 1.485? What is 3 times 1.485? What do you get after multiplying 1.485 times 3? 1.485 times 3. What will you get? 1.485 by, what are you going to get? So you just complete that part. Let's go to question 2. Question 2 was 1 over 24.5 seats plus 4.34 seats squared. So we have number, we have standard form, we have reciprocal. So our number is 24.5 seats. Our standard form is 2.45 seats times 10 to the power 1. And our reciprocal is 2.45. It will be 0.4082. 2.45. 4082. Then minus 6. 6 we subtract 10. So it will be 0.4072. So it will be 0.4072. This will be times 10 to the power negative 1. Because it was times 10 to the power 1, it will be times 10 to the power negative 1. So once we do that, we will have itarudi nyuma equal 0.04072. We are done with that one. So we will now have 1 times 0.04072 plus 4.346 squared. So we now go to the table of squares and we square 4.346. So in the table of squares, the table of squares is in page 19. Page 19, we have 4.34, 18.83 seats. This is the square of this 4.34. Then we have a seats at the end. Plus seats, it will be plus 52. 8.81. So it is going to be 18.888 plus 0.04072. Once you add the two, you will get 18.888 plus 0.04072. Once we add, we will get 278,218. So if we round it off to the nearest four significant figures, it will be 18.93. It will be 18.93. 18.93. 18.93. So we are done. At least today we have been able to cover squares, square roots, reciprocals, squares and square roots, and cubes. Tomorrow we are going to be covering logarithms. Tomorrow we'll be covering logarithms. Mark that, tomorrow we are going to be covering logarithms. So that by tomorrow we are done. We are done with everything. We'll be covering logarithms. So we'll be done with indices and logarithms. Reciprocals, we are done. And if you are interested in my services, remember this is Top Grade Academy. It is the institution where we turn confusion into clarity. If you are interested in my services, you can dial that number +2547420900825, and I am going to communicate with you so that you can have some lessons. For the sake of the private students who are still preparing to sit for the national examination, you can contact this number for inquiries. This is for inquiries. Consultation. And also for private tutorials. And also for the NEC exam registration. So if you set for KCPE between 1985 to 2021 and you never had a chance to sit for the KCSE examination, this is a better chance. We are now shifting towards the curriculum, the competency-based education. So we only have 2 KCSE to go. 2026 is over. Reason being, most students have already registered. But if you want to sit for KCSE 2027, you can call this number or you can WhatsApp this number, and I can help you prepare for your examination. And coming 2027, I also help you register and take you through the procedure you are supposed to go through to register for KCSE. I remain your favorite teacher, Teacher Asaf, the founder of Top Grade Academy. A lot more is coming, and I believe that we are going to explore more, not just in mathematics, but even in other disciplines. I'm still promising you there is a lot more that is coming in Top Grade Academy, where we turn confusion into clarity and where top grade begins. Have a blessed night. We've come to the end of our session. Have a blessed night. Have a blessed evening. For those who are watching me from diaspora, for those who are watching me from abroad, I wish you the very best. I pray that these sessions might be of help to you, that you may be able to excel in your academics. Have a blessed moment. Have a blessed evening. Let's meet tomorrow, a time like this, 7 p.m. East African time, so that we can continue with logarithms. If you are interested in our services as Top Grade Academy, kindly ensure that you communicate to this number, chat me through this number, and I'm going to give you the guideline. Top Grade Academy, where we turn confusion into clarity.